we see our ladies football get back to the top again?
Well,
let me come to the writers, the loudmouth writers, who always have a thing or two to say to criticize the coaches when they fail to perform. That's what you do, or that's what you do. I haven't said anything wrong. Okraku, is there a coaching problem in Ghana?
Well, Kwame, first of all, that statement from Mr. Okraku on the...
We are not only looking at that. Yeah. We are looking at the entire...
Yeah. He started that conversation by the statement.
He said he knows that we have a problem in coaches.
So I can attribute that to him, that statement by him on the floor of Congress. For me, paints a picture that Mr. Okraku and the leadership of the Football Association now are swimming in a pool of confusion. Because on Saturday, before the Congress, I was in Kumasi and I was listening to Pure FM. One of his communicators, Kwame Stuttgart, was on Pure FM telling everybody that the coaches that we have currently are better than the late Osam Dodu, Jones Atukwefio, Ika Afrani, and the like.
The ones we have currently?
Yes. He told Bright can come.
The ones we have currently, I can coach them, a lot of them.
No, you can pardon him. Maybe he doesn't. Is it
the same Stuttgart?
Yes, Stuttgart.
Who's gone into politics?
Yes.
He's operating in those days. Or he wants a certain level of relevance.
Yes,
that's ridiculous to even say that in the first place.
He's a communicator for Mr. Okraku.
Oh, I see.
So, and that's what he said.
I mean, do you have to go that low in the name of politics to compare the current generation to those coaches? None of them would get anywhere close to a coach like Hebetado.
Bright Kankamwadu, the host of the program, asked him, and he repeated that. He repeated and asked him that.
How many of them will get close to any of those guys?
And
sadly, they are all late.
It was quite shocking that for him to sit there and know and follow Ghana football at the time, see the late Sir Jones Atukwefio win the African Coach of the Year award, being a local coach, and for him to make that statement, it was quite shocking. But my point is that, so I was taken aback when on the floor of Congress, the Football Association president, whose messages these guys are propagating now, says that we have a coaching problem, we have refereeing problem, and that's the reason why our national team...
But that's their job, they're supposed to supervise that.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the point is this. How will CK Akono, the coach of the Black Stars, then, how do you expect him to perform when he pencils down names of players that he wants to use in matches? Then you take the list and put your own players in there. How do you expect him to perform? How do you expect coaches to perform handling your various national teams when you impose players on these coaches? How do you expect them to perform? And I'm saying this on record. CK Akono, post his job at the Black Stars of Ghana, granted an interview where he said publicly said that the FA system led by Okraku were imposing players on him. And he named the player, Emmanuel Lomote, at the time.
Yeah.
So you have a system like that, where you're supervising over such corruption, and you expect the coaches to perform for you. When you have a system where coaches coaching the various youth national teams are not paid, how do you expect the coaches to perform? You are supervising over a system where a coach within that system, Pakosi Fabian, on record, has said that you can give him under 20 or under 17, don't pay him. Every day, he will close and go home with not less than 2,000 Ghana cedis. And they asked him why, and he said that Coach Sapon will bring his player, Kwame Juma will bring his player. At the end of the day, he'll go home with 2,000 Ghana cedis minimum. He said it on record, because you do not pay the coaches. How do you expect the coaches to perform when in your own Game Changer Manifesto of 2019, you promise that you are going to make free coaches training out, free training for all coaches in the country. But in 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, you are charging them. How do you expect the coaches to perform? How do you expect the coaches to perform and grant proper post-match interviews when the training you give to them at Pram Pram, you don't even coach them on how to communicate in post-match interviews? How do you expect them to perform?
Maybe they are thoughts, but
they are not.
They are not. I'm not there.
I have spoken to coaches who attend the program that they organize.
Communication is a part of their program, I'm told.
And charge them exorbitant fees. They don't teach them how to communicate. Remember, I work with the club.
Yes.
So I speak to our coaches. They attend them. They don't teach them. They don't take them through the proper routines. So how do you expect the coaches to perform? When you do all these things and turn around 360 degrees and blame the coaches for it, is Mr. Okraku ready to stop the player interference that he imposes players on the national team coaches? Is he ready to stop that?
He says it happens everywhere.
Where does it happen that in England, when the English national team coach, Gary Southgate, does his list of players that he wants to use for the Three Lions, and the English FA boss puts his own players in there?
Maybe it's discussed backdoors. You don't know.
On record, we have never seen that. But here we have an example. So clearly, you and I know that the problems, yes, partially we can say that the standard of coaching that we have compared to maybe the last 2 decades have declined. But clearly the problems that are supposed to be the bane of Ghanaian coaching are not solely the coaches.
So you think that it's not just a case of the coaches being poor, but there are also, other unseen factors that make their jobs difficult.
There are other seen factors. The seen factors are what CK Akono spoke about.
Why didn't he say it when he had a job?
Does that discount?
I'm just asking.
No, I'm asking, does that discount the fact that it didn't happen?
No.
Exactly. So that's the central point. You get a point. So the point here is that Mr. Okraku has clearly demonstrated that at this period, he just engaged in a game of blame sharing.
He says going forward, he's going to be offering rebates for ex-national footballers who are interested in coaching. Maybe that would help change the situation.
At this point, I tell you,
it's just a campaign promise.
At this point, I tell you that in the game changer manifesto of Mr. Okraku in 2019, he made 67 good promises to the good people of Ghana who invest their heart and sweat in football. Out of those 67 promises that he made to football, he has failed to fulfill 50 of those promises.
Okay, I would have to go through all of them.
I'm coming. Representing 75% of those promises. So if Okraku today, because he knows that in 3 months' time, he will have to contest for another re-election, he's promising that he's going to do A, B, C, D in coaching. Nobody can take those promises serious.
Okay.
Because like I said in the intro, Mr. Okraku has been the most resource Football Association president in the history of the GFA. In a sense that within the 4 years that he's been the president of the Ghana Football Association, his administration has received in excess of $7 million US. How much of that money has he invested into coaching?
Good question. At your